by knowledge on biodiversity and ecosystem services. So first, it's important to differentiate knowledge from data, raw data, for example, and information. We understand knowledge that it has been, it needs to be processed, needs to be a thought process. And our understanding of knowledge includes all kinds of processed information needed for sustainable management of biodiversity and ecosystem services. It includes scientific knowledge, of course, but we would also like to include the practical knowledge and the traditional knowledge. So let me introduce to the actors that will be needed in our prototype of a network of knowledge. First of all, you will have the knowledge holders, which are basically anybody or any institution who have knowledge on biodiversity and who are willing to share this knowledge and then becoming knowledge providers. And some examples are, for example, scientists, of course, the practitioners, NGO, but also indigenous and local people and so on. And on the other side, you have the knowledge users that we call clients. And knowledge users are anybody or any institution who request knowledge to improve the biodiversity management. And some examples are the DGs, for example, ministries, or NGOs or private sectors. And of course, to ensure the functioning of all of this network of knowledge, we will need a knowledge interface. So a knowledge coordinating body and the day-to-day business handled by a secretariat. So then we got the idea of having a prototype in 6 steps that I will define a bit more in the next slide. So first, there will be a step of request. So the client or the knowledge requester or user would fill in a form, maybe on internet, we don't know yet, a request form, and trying to explain what's the question they have, and trying to define as much as possible what they are expecting as an answer. And then it will be dealt by the knowledge coordinating body, and according to a set of criteria that we didn't finish to settle, they will either accept or reject the request. And if the NOC has accepted the request, then it will, of course, one of the main challenges in this request phase will be the set of criteria on accepting or rejecting the request. So then, if the request is accepted, the NOC will gather the clients together with some selected experts to discuss this request, this question that the client has, and we'll try to refine the question, maybe because the question is too broad and it's impossible to answer without breaking this question into many questions. And altogether they will agree on the final request. Then the main challenge here on this step will of course ensure mutual understanding of clients and knowledge holders on the questions. Then there will be a planning phase where the knowledge coordination body will gather with a scoping group, the first expert people who have talked to the clients and know exactly what the client is expecting, to select experts on this question to form a working group to work on this question. So it's important here to know that the first expert to talk to the clients will not be involved in the working group. They will not be part of this working group. I mean, that's our sort of way. And of course, one of the main challenges is the selection of experts and how they will process the knowledge assessment. Then there will be a conductive phase that I will not detail right now because I don't have time. But we thought first of using 3 kinds of knowledge assessment, but this can also be developed. And of course here the main challenge will be to keeping timeline and ensure transparency and credibility of the knowledge. Then there will be a finalizing phase where the working group will give us some kind of report, and And this report will pass first through the stakeholders to validate the report. And once both stakeholders and working group and coordination body have agreed, they will submit this report to peer reviewers who will peer review and verify the credibility of the knowledge that has been assessed. And then it will go back to the clients, and of course the challenge here, the feedback, the stakeholders and clients, and more important, the acknowledgement of contributions. Then there will be a closing and following up, so it's basically the dialogue back to the clients, and like in the dissemination thing. So of course we are only at the beginning of our project, so we are a lot to go on, and so we need to further develop the non-prototype. And the main idea of our project is to get a draft, but to start a broad consultation for feedback. It's very important. We started yesterday with the first session, and we will go on, as I will explain you after in the later slide. Sorry. And the idea is to test this prototype later on next year with 3 different case study questions. So we will ask the clients to ask us 3 questions in 3 different subjects and see if we can answer this question. And the question will be marine biodiversity, in agriculture and biodiversity, and conservation biodiversity. And the main message I will say is that to get involved in our project, because it's the main spirit of it, that everybody has something to say, and you have several ways to get involved through our website. And after a consultation of 3 big workshops going on in Europe, in 3 different regions before the end of November, then we will upload the prototype with all the feedback we get on the website, with a form to get feedback from the whole community on how they perceive the knowledge network. And so you are more than welcome to give us feedback, and you can know more about when is the uploading and so on if you register to our newsletter, so newsletter at biodiversityknowledge.eu. And yeah, thank you for your attention.